Today we're talking about Apecoin staking. There is so much to cover here, so let's get right into it. First of all, we'll talk about the timeline. When is it launching? When will you be able to stake? Secondly, the massive drama that escalated on Twitter today around the fact that Horizon Labs announced that people that are situated in the US are not going to be able to use their interface. Does this mean you're not going to be able to stake your ape? Yes, but no. We'll discuss that. Then we'll continue to talk about the MetaMask news, which is very related to this. They'll start collecting IP addresses of all their users, and that is kind of the same problem we're facing here with the US geolocation block for ape staking. Okay, so let's get into all things Apecoin staking. So first of all, I would point you towards a few resources. The main one being right this. This was the drama today. So let's catch you up. What happened? Okay, so everybody knows that Apecoin staking is coming. But when is it coming? Well, luckily we got some answers. Right here, this is what most of you care about. December 5th to 7th, contract will be funded, and December 5th, it's going live, okay? But the number one date, the one that everybody cares so much about is this December 12th, okay? December 12th, rewards accrual begins, aka you can stake on the 5th, but you start getting rewards on the 12th. Fantastic. So that's pretty good news, because this was supposed to happen later in December, a week later to be precise. Because of the bug bounties, etc., they moved it forward, as they say here, 1 week. Okay, so it's happening on the 12th. Now we know that. Now let's move forward. What was the problem here? So you start reading this and you're like, because this is a big announcement. You're like, okay, finally they're communicating clearly and saying what's happening. And then you arrive at this part again. So like this all checks out and sounds good, nothing surprising. And all of a sudden, please note that apestake.io, okay? Important, apestake.io, that is Horizon Labs interface to stake your Apecoin or JPEGs that go along with it, will be available to users in most countries. Again, that's the interface, not the smart contract. That's the interface they're building for it, right? The user-friendly front end. However, users in the following countries or regions will be geo-blocked: United States, Canada, North Korea, Syria, Iran, and then you can read on. It's kind of funny to see US and Canada on this list of politically risky countries, right? But okay, we're aware that geo-blocking some users, blah, 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 is not ideal. Okay, what does this actually mean? So it means their front end, right? The site that you're going to be staking your Apecoin on is not going to be available in the US. But luckily, we're dealing with decentralized assets here, meaning you're still going to be able to interact with the smart contract. What is that going to look like? So this is the front end. This is the smart contract walkthrough, and most of you probably don't care about like all the Solidity code that goes on in the background. But at the end of the day, if we mute this, I can show you what it's going to look like and what you're not going to be getting when you're in the US. And then I'll show you an alternative, and we'll discuss what problems this could bring along with it. So if you have a look over here, then this is the interface that we'll be looking at right here. Okay, so you do depositing. This is Apecoin only, and again, we discussed it before, but let me summarize. So you can stake Apecoin only. You can stake Apecoin with your mutant. You can stake Apecoin with your Bored Ape, or you can pair a Bored Ape Kennel Club with your ape. Okay, so those are the options. So you can go for coin only, or paired with the NFT. And if you have a Bored Ape Kennel Club, you need a big monkey to stake that together, and then those will get you higher multipliers. I will leave all these links in the description below. The main thing you want to check out is AIP21 here. Here we have the exact amounts you can stake with the various and like all the schedules and all the details that you care. Also AIP22 is important, because here you see how the staking pool, how many tokens it gives out. You don't get into all the math on it, but most people will care about the fact that, okay, this is how many coins are allocated to the different pools, and then you'll be getting a bunch of that. There's a lot of people that did some speculations, but at the end of the day, it depends on how many people actually stake their coins and stake their monkey JPEGs. That's what the numbers are going to depend on. But I'm here today to show you the details of what's happening. Okay, so blocked in the US, what does that mean? Okay, in practice, that means you're not going to be able to use this, right? You're not going to be able to use this. But luckily, this is just a nice way of presenting the smart contract behind it, okay? This is just a very aesthetic and user-friendly way to do it. So at the end of the day, just like you can mint from a website during an NFT drop, you can always go into the contract and mint from the contract. Well, mostly. In this case, you're going to be able to do it. It's not going to be that simple though. Maybe you've seen the mint from contract video on my channel. It's not that simple. It's not just filling out one thing. There's going to be square brackets and you're going to have to separate it. And if you stake 2 NFTs, you're going to have to uphold a certain format. But if that is something you guys care about and you'll have to do, I can create a video on that and take you through it step by step safely, okay? We can do that. It's not going to be an issue. I want you to get that out of your head. That's not going to be an issue. Additionally, they said another thing. What the issue here is, it's a different one. What the issue here is the fact that you can't do it legally in the US. And what consequences will this accrue long term? Nobody really knows. That's kind of the problem here. Nobody really knows. Well, so this part here, third-party interfaces. Okay, they're saying that they have various third parties to allow users throughout the world to access the smart contract through their own user interface. So if you're, I don't know if they don't specify if like Binance US is gonna have like an interface. Probably not, but that's what I'm saying. Like, their safe bet here is you can really go ahead and use the contract. Okay, so we can do a tutorial on that, and if you want, and even the official account tweeted, right? It's at Apecoin, GM8fam. We want to remind the community that one of the benefits of decentralized finance is that anybody can interact with a smart contract or develop clients and interfaces that allow users to interact with smart contracts. So it's not going to be hard, right? It's not going to be hard. It's going to be totally doable. The problem is, what are the legal ramifications of this? And I'm not the one to fool you on legal ramifications for this. We all know that the Bored Ape Yacht Club is being investigated by the SEC, and we all know that there's no proper regulations in place for NFTs and most cryptocurrencies in the US, and that is kind of the key country to clarify this. So keep an eye out on any announcements connected to that, especially in like traditional news. But right now, we don't know is the answer. We don't know. I'm guessing most people will just do it anyway and deal with the consequences later. So I'll put all these links in the description. I feel like that is a comprehensive summary. And there is one more thing which we need to talk about, because this came out too. And it's kind of in the same bucket, right? MetaMask will start collecting user IP addresses. So this is seriously happening, okay? Why is this happening? Well, actually, the reasoning is quite simple. They're funded by JP Morgan Chase. And if you're funded by JP Morgan Chase, you kind of have to comply and be on the safe side of everything, right? That's how this works. And that's why this is not a choice. They kind of have to do it. They accepted this route by accepting the funding. But the main provider of Web3 wallets soon is going to be doxing everybody's IP addresses. Now, a lot of people initially react with this like, oh, no problem, I'll just use a VPN. Alright. Could use a VPN, right? But first of all, I'm not technical enough to give you the 100% like see-through analysis of this. But I'll say this. Will you use a VPN on every interaction ever from the second you start up your computer? Because this is not a website you interact with whenever you choose to do so. This is a browser extension, right? One that many people have on their phones. Are you going to be using a VPN there 24/7 too? And even if you do, there's a usage history that MetaMask has, right? And even if they don't, like, it's a problem. It's a problem. And they're gonna get their data if they want it, right? And they need it. They're needed. Their life and their governance is dependent, or like the survival of the funding of their company is dependent on the fact that they comply in the US. So they'll do what it takes to take the proper measures. And this is a massive development. This cannot be understated. And yes, even if you don't use a VPN, there's like people have been arguing on Twitter that there's ways to like spoof, which is like imitate the different IP address and tell MetaMask that. So there's technical ways to get around this, but look, the fact of the matter is 98% of the people are not gonna bother with that, and they're just gonna take the product at face value, just like they do with social media and advertising, all types of advertisements, right? Just like, oh, we're all getting tracked and all our data is out there and being sold. Everybody's like, kind of, oh, that sucks, oh, whatever, and then they just move on. So this is not a great development, and I would just like to point out one thing to round this out, and that is both of these news kind of fall in the bucket of like, wow, this is a massive development, but not in the right direction, right? And the way I think about it is, I'll sketch this out for you real quick. There's kind of two axes going on here, right? There's time, that's one, okay? Right there, that's time. And then the second one is progress. And the idea that most people come to this space for is this idea of decentralization. And this idea of actually getting to a point where we have a little sovereignty over our own assets, at least like the digital ones, you know? Some people go way harder with that idea, some less. But like, I guess I'm on like the casual side, but at the end of the day, you have time and progress. And the problem is that like, most people think that, okay, the more time we spend, the closer we're going to get. But the reality of the fact, as we see this developing, this is not speculation, this is a fact. The reality is like, as time progresses, you know, we get a little bit of progress, and then time passed and we go back to where we were. But I would say this, for all like the skeptics and the doubters, I think that the floor has been consistently rising, you know? And although we had these various events that set us back and took us lower on the progress side of things, I think this is this type of event. Yes, it sucks that MetaMask is going to be tracking IPs, but yes, there's going to be 100 alternatives, first of all, right? Yes, it sucks that Apecoin staking isn't available in the US, but you can do it for smart contracts. I'm going to do a tutorial to show you how, if the people want it. Leave a comment down below, by the way, if you're interested in that. There's going to be other people that like put up interfaces to make it simple, and we move on. Once these things are clarified, we're going to be able to rise higher and higher on that graph. But for now, yes, it's a little bit of a setback, but then at the end of the day, that's how progress works. It's not a linear line upwards to the right, and I hope you have the endurance to deal with it. I think at the end of the day, it's all going to be worth it. A little scared by like the MetaMask news, because that's actually a huge setback, because they're the biggest wallet provider, right? Anyways, I hope you learned something. I hope the resources in the description help you out. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. Subscribe to the channel for more Bored Ape, Yacht Club, and other side ecosystem updates. It was my pleasure. See you on the other side. By the way, they had a little tweet. Last thing I want to point out here, and you can actually tweet it. It happened. So this will be the trial of Jimmy the monkey. Don't ask me what exactly is meant by that, but something is finally happening again. Exciting stuff. Have a great day, everyone.